Okay. I see it on Periscope, Trovo, Facebook D Live. YouTube is live as well, and twitch.tv/The Hake Report should be starting. It's Monday, 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time. February 15th, 2021. Women's Forum this Thursday, ladies, for third Thursday of the month. Very nice. 7 p.m. at Bond in Los Angeles for ladies only. Men's forums are first Thursday of the month. These are, I mentioned them because they're excellent, and just to remind you that it is coming up. All right? This is the Hake Report, and I am James Hake. I'm going to be touching on, well, your calls, 888-775-3773. President Trump was acquitted, of course, by the Senate from their fake impeachment, second fake impeachment on false pretenses, pretending that he incited a riot. Give me a break. Incited an insurrection. Meanwhile, like, they've completely closed their eyes. They accuse him of doing what they do, really. Close their eyes and plug their ears, and la, I support Black Lives Matter. All these phony politicians, including Mitt Sleazy Romney, the rhino. He walked in a Black Lives Matter scumbag protest. Did you know that? Yeah, pretended to be a Christian. He's a fake. He's a fake. But he's a rhino and a Mormon. And a kiss up to evil. And Bachelor, I mean, I don't even care about this show, right? I never cared about it. I didn't know anything about it. And, but it's ridiculous. The example, the lynching that they're doing against white, semi-reasonable liberals who are stars of this show and hosts. Ridiculous. I will be covering some of that. And some of the lynch mob leaders, some of which are, one of them is a black female, former bachelorette. And boy, I feel sorry for no, I'm kidding. I don't feel sorry. But she's, I think she's married. Poor husband, right? And the COVID lockdowns are unending. They're going to come up with every excuse to keep excessive control over you. And one other item, too. Oh, the Brian Sicknick story. You know, the Trump supporter cop, Capitol Police officer, I believe he was a Trump supporter, who died. They had said, and I had reported falsely, and I told you guys, oh, you know what, I turned it out to that I was fake news, that he was hit over the head with a fire extinguisher. And one report said that he was gushing from the head, and I don't even know, that may not be true at all. And, well, New York Times have quietly updated their story. There should be a retraction, but no, they're just quietly doing it. After, shout out, Revolver.news exposed the lies. Or at least you can call it a premature, without knowing the facts, reporting stuff as fact, right? Such as this fire extinguisher story. It may not even be true. Officer Brian Sicknick, the man who was buried at the Capitol Rotunda along with another fallen officer, I believe, this past week or a couple weeks ago. And the Democrats and rhinos pretended to be somber and care about him. They don't. They're cowards. They're evil. Anyway, all that. After this, let's get started with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report, the Hake Report, la la la.
So, isn't it interesting how our real president, Donald J. Trump, was completely exonerated of any wrongdoing with regard to the Capitol situation. But Mitch McConnell, the sleazy rhino, scum of the earth, Senate Majority Leader, at one time he was a Senate Majority Leader, now they're in the minority, thanks to what some might call shenanigans with regard to the election. I don't want to say steal, right? I don't want to call it a steal. He's saying, oh, I heard, right? Mitch McConnell is a Republican, so-called, from Kentucky. And even though he voted to exonerate President Trump completely, he said, oh, Trump has moral responsibility for the Capitol riot that everybody's being all dramatic about, right? And now there are, and this is actually ongoing, right? Georgia prosecutors, right? People in Georgia, higher ups in Georgia, are pretending to go after Trump and investigate him for trying to overturn the results of their election. When in reality, we should be investigating the election in Georgia, if anything, right? Actually, they should have halted everything. Let's see what really went down here. But they got rid of every safeguard to keep, many safeguards, let's say, maybe not every safeguard, but they got rid of a whole lot of safeguards that would keep the elections honest. Oh, we have this COVID communist shutdown virus. Let's do vote by mail. Let's get rid of the signature requirement. I don't know if they did that in Georgia specifically, but they were doing all kinds of shenanigans, right? And year after year after year, even before this, the switcheroo with the rules, which was unconstitutionally done, some argue, there have been concerns about voter shenanigans. Some call it voter fraud. For decades, people have been complaining about this. The Democrats conveniently cried voter fraud in the year 2000 when George W. Bush beat Al Gore. One scumbag rhino I voted for him. I was 18. Beat the Democrat, sleazy Democrat who pretended that he invented the internet and came out with this propaganda movie later called An Inconvenient Truth about climate change. And by the way, it's very cold right now. So much for global warming. But criminal investigators are going after him after Trump, even after this impeachment thing is over, in New York. The SDNY, I think, Southern District of New York, something like that, they are going after him for his taxes and all kinds of stuff because they're corrupt and they hate a decent man. And there are a couple of #MeToo lawsuits by female false accusers, right? It's endless. That man is dealing with a lot of it, a lot of stuff. What a mess. I'm going to get to your calls, but let me present to you this information about this. It's an update on the Bachelor story. I've talked about this last week at some point, right? In this reality TV show called The Bachelor. It's a degenerate show, I'm told, and I can only assume based on the premise, in which a man is presented with what I call a harem, which is kind of like a bunch of prostitutes, right? A harem of women. They're not really prostitutes, but they act like it. Except they give it away for free. It's evil. To pick and choose which woman he wants to marry, I guess. It's a single guy, right? He's not married. And they, according to Joelle, they're like kissing on the first date and all kinds of mess. And that's probably the least of the questionable things that may go on with this dating show, basically. This dating show, matchmaking show. So this host of this Bachelor TV show, which has been going on since the year 2002, his name is Chris Harrison. And it's been going on for, what is that, 18 years? And I don't care about the show, it's degenerate, but They're using it to go after white people. This is Chris Harrison. We're showing him on the video screen. If you're watching video, white guy. I think he's a white guy. It's hard to know, but you know the way I'm gonna play a clip for you in a few moments, and the way he's talking is, you can tell that he's kissing up to the stupid liberal values of imaginary racism, but he is trying to be a little bit reasonable, or at least, no, he doesn't even have to try. He's just a little bit reasonable with regard to the lynch mobs that come after people. Because there was this 24-year-old girl who a couple of years ago, she dressed up and went to a Old South plantation-style ball. And they looked more like prostitutes rather than Southern ladies. But that's a totally different situation. Because they weren't mad about how she was dressed. They were mad that she was acting like... They were mad that she was acting like it's fine to be in the Old South when slavery happened. Blacks were slaves. Yeah, maybe this is not a white Christian guy. It's Chris Harrison. I don't know. But anyway, this is an example of evil people calling out evil people. Less evil people, actually. The worst evil people are calling out the less evil people for being a little bit reasonable. It's crazy. I guess that, and then the less evil people are apologizing to the worse evil people. I guess that makes the less evil so-called whites, if these people are even normal white Christians, equivalent to a bunch of rhinos, you know, or weak Christians who are just surrendering the country to evil, right? So this is according to the Hollywood Reporter on Twitter. Chris Harrison says in his statement, Chris Harrison being the host of this degenerate show, by excusing historical racism, I defended it. I invoked the term woke police, which is unacceptable. I am ashamed of how uninformed I was. I was so wrong. Isn't that humiliating? And this is a grown man, 49 years old, married, has 2 children. Oops, I spit. Good thing you guys didn't see that. Has 2 children. What a bad example that he set by cowering and caving and kissing up. Get fired, do something else if you have to surrender your dignity like this, right? Seems like it. So according to the Hollywood Reporter, whose initials are THR, just like the Hake Report, Harrison has hosted The Bachelor and its spin-offs, including The Bachelorette, which is which is even worse, right? The woman has a harem of men, of men, and she picks them. Since the ABC is a very gross, anti-American network. I was banned from commenting on ABC News articles, you know, because they used to have comment sections. I don't know if they still do, but they had comment sections, and then they used the Discuss, DISQUS, comment section on ABC News website. And I remember after that officer who shot Michael Slager shot, shot some black guy in the back, right? Over in one of the Carolinas. They're all the same. It all runs together, right? And just an example of fake black victimhood, right? Imaginary racism. They're just going after the white cop for shooting the black guy in the back. Maybe he shouldn't have shot the black guy in the back because in the 70s, the corrupt Supreme Court once decided to tie the hands of the police and empower the criminal by saying, oh, police can't shoot a fleeing suspect who poses no immediate harm to himself or the others in the community. But this guy had Walter Scott's the black guy who got himself shot in the back. He ran away from a normal stop, right? And his passenger stayed in the car. His passenger survived. But blacks think, oh, this officer, Michael Slager, or whatever his name is, Slager, had every intention of murdering him, and that's why he ran. There's no indication of that, right? But he ran, caught up to him. Scott fought him off, and then ran again. There was a fight over a taser. You could hear the taser going off in in the video that was recorded, and he fires several shots, shoots him in the back, and people are saying, "Oh, he moved the gun or moved the thing to plant evidence on him to try to hide the fact that he did wrong," and that's questionable in my mind. That's questionable whether he tried to manipulate any of the evidence. I don't know. But it was a big lynch mob against the white cop because he was white. Not because of him shooting in the back. But some of the more reasonable people are like, "Oh, you shouldn't be shooting him in the back." But it's just a big mess, right? So anyway, I said, the worse blacks get, I put this in a comment on the ABC News website, the worse blacks get, the more perfect the cops have to become. Because the cops are getting all the scrutiny and the blacks are getting no scrutiny for how crazy they act. And therefore, I was banned. I was banned from commenting on the ABC News website. Anyways, ABC is what hosts this franchise, The Bachelor, degenerate show, right? Back in 2002. Harrison's departure comes days after his interview with a former Bachelorette star named Rachel Lindsay. 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 Rachel Lindsay, who is black. And she interviewed this guy. And she hates white people and blacks, honestly. No respect for blacks. Because she feels that victimhood thing. She's a radical. I'll get into more of her. He got a bunch of backlash. She interviewed him on this show called Extra or something like that. During Tuesday's 13-minute interview, Chris Harrison waded into the racism controversy that emerged from Rachel, and I was pronouncing her name Kirkconnell, but I think it's Kirkconnell, something like that, which is that so-called white, maybe mixed girl, 24 years old, who's dating a black guy on this Bachelor TV show right now. It's in the middle of their season, I guess. And she is the one who dressed up like an Indian squaw. I showed it on my show. And then she went to this Old South formal with a fraternity or sorority, whatever, right? Ridiculous. Who cares? But blacks want to get offended over whites being free. They don't like whites being free. You can't say the N-word. You can't wear blackface. And you can't go to a plantation or have a plantation-themed party because that's when blacks were victims of racism. So, and this woman is a front-runner on Matt James's historic season of the Bachelor. Matt James is the name of the black guy she's dating, right? The first ever black Bachelor. It's weeks away from the finale, by the way. After The Bachelor premiered in early January, questions over Kirkconnell's, this woman, this young 24-year-old so-called white girl, social media behavior began to circulate when a viral TikTok purported to reveal the contestant liking posts that contained the Confederate flag. Ooh. Maybe she liked my show. Maybe she was watching the Hake Report. Because I wear a Confederate flag t-shirt. And also sharing QAnon conspiracy theories. Based? So this girl is a normal white girl, basically. But I don't even think she's a normal white girl. Last weekend, resurfaced photos on Reddit appeared to show the Georgia native, who is now 24, Southern woman, young woman, girl, immature, attending an Old South plantation-themed college party in 2018. Kirkconnell verified the online activity, and she posted an apology. Ridiculous. After Harrison's interview aired. Followed up on her post with a joint statement from her entire cast denouncing any defense of racism. Give me a break. So his actual words, before this female's cowardly apology, Harrison said, "Well, Rachel, is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021? Because his point is, with this George Floyd anti-racism witch hunt, George Floyd being the black guy who died because he overdosed on fentanyl, and then there's a white cop had the knee on his neck, and they're saying, oh, that white cop murdered George Floyd, and then the whole huge anti-racism witch hunt started anew, right? Which it's been going on for ages, but meaning anti-white witch hunt. Starting to lynch the whites. So he's pointing out 2018 is before this George Floyd incident, and we're not weeding out every little imaginary racism thing. Was this the lens we're holding up, and is this lens available? He's kind of pointing out, like, look, in the South, slavery was the thing, or calling blacks the N-word was the thing. It wasn't considered offensive, but now it's considered offensive because the SJWs are taking control, because they're the squeaky wheel getting the grease. So the interview received backlash and prompted Chris Harrison, this grown man, family man, so-called, to release a statement apologizing for wrongly speaking in a manner that perpetuates racism. Now his apology is perpetuating racism against whites. What a sucker. He wrote in part in a social media apology on Wednesday, while I do not speak for Rachel Kirkconnell, the Southern woman, my intentions were simply to ask for grace in offering her an opportunity to speak on her own behalf. What I now realize is I have done is cause harm by wrongly speaking in a manner that perpetuates racism, and for that I am deeply sorry. I also apologize to my friend. She's not your friend, he says. Rachel Lindsay. That's that evil black woman I just mentioned. She's not your friend, for not listening to her better on a topic she has firsthand understanding of. Why? Because she's black? And she's like barely black. And humbly thank the members of Bachelor Nation who have reached out to me to hold me accountable. I promise to do better. That's gross groveling. The following day, the young woman, Kirkconnell, said, I'm here to say I was wrong. I was ignorant, but my ignorance was racist. She apologized to the so-called communities and individuals who were harmed by her actions. Nobody was harmed by her actions. It's ridiculous. And acknowledged how viewers must be sick of reading such apology statements amid a wave of public figures coming under fire. I want to put my energy towards preventing people from making the same offensive mistakes that I made in the first place. And I hope I can prove this to you moving forward. What a sick couple of cowardly so-called whites, right? Or they're a representation of whites. Anyway, even if they're not. So this woman's mess, this Rachel Lindsay woman, I looked her up. Her social media, her Instagram, has Breonna Taylor as her profile picture. Instagram is where you post pictures on, for the boomers, right? Where you post pictures on your social media. It has, that Breonna Taylor is that black female, 20-something-year-old, former girlfriend, ex-girlfriends with a drug dealer, and was at the time when she was killed, girlfriends living or sleeping together with a boyfriend who shot at the cops and shot a cop. Whether he knew it or not, he shot at a cop. Did not identify his target. Shot a cop in the leg. Rachel Lindsay's putting the fake victimhood of Breonna Taylor out there. A Black Lives Matter agitator, essentially. She has become a vocal alum because she was a former bachelorette. When it comes to holding the franchise accountable, she urged the ABC series to diversify, both on camera and off, amid public outcry in the summer of 2020. She was, shortly after that male, that black, so-called black male, Joel-looking guy. Imagine if Joel had been the star. He would be like, I don't care if she goes to a Southern ball or likes a Confederate flag, doesn't bother me. Imagine Joel doing that. What a shame, Joel, you missed your chance. You could have blown this whole imaginary racism thing open. But anyway, you probably would have been forced to kiss these degenerate females in the first date, so nah. Anyway, when The Bachelorette featured its first Latina and black lead with Adams in 2020 season, she challenged the show to spotlight conversations about race, which was followed by an on-screen conversation about the Black Lives Matter so-called movement, also known as the next KKK, worse than the KKK. After James's premiere, that's the black guy, Matt James, Lindsay suggested on her podcast that Harrison might not be the best choice to lead a conversation with James that delved into the pressures that he feels as a biracial lead. Give me a break. All of this just catering and kissing up and coddling of the POCs. Isn't that an insult? They should be insulted. No wonder she's so angry. After announcing that Matt James, that black, light-skinned, skinny black guy, as the star, the franchise diversified behind the scenes, hiring more producers of color and bringing in a diversity team to work with the cast and talent. Man, I'm glad I work for Jessie, right? On her Higher Learning podcast, which is from Ringer, right? Lindsay, this Rachel Lindsay woman, says she believes she's not very ladylike, believes the franchise has a race problem. She questioned why Harrison didn't sit through diversity training. Diversity training. This woman is a lawyer. That's partly why she's so far gone. A lawyer. I saw that on her Twitter profile. She says that she's a lawyer. That was conducted by ABC. ABC does diversity training. So I don't have a whole lot of Chris Harrison's actual comments on her interview that took place on Extra, but I have a brief few clips that I mashed together of this Chris Harrison guy, just so you can get a feel of what he was saying, talking about the situation with having this Old South party from back in 2018 and how the lynch mob is going after this Rachel, whatever her name is, Rachel Kirkconnell. So here's Chris Harrison talking with the black woman, Rachel Lindsay, talking about the Bachelor, the front runner controversy. And later he apologizes for this interview. Listen to this. This is 10.
This judge, jury, executioner thing where people are just tearing this girl's life apart. Well, Rachel, is it a good look in 2018 or is it not a good look in 2021?
It's
because
not
there's a big
good
difference.
look ever.
I'm not defending Rachel. I just know that, I don't know, 50 million people did that in 2018 between, it's like that was a type of party that a lot of people went to.
See, he's just being reasonable. And the black girl is saying, it's not an okay to do it ever. She doesn't like white people being free, doing their own little thing. Because she wants to be offended. So let me show you a clip of her talking about this interview afterwards on another show. I guess her own show, maybe. This is Rachel Lindsay on The Ringer. The Ringer is, I guess, her network. She's a podcast host. And she's talking with this black guy named Van Latham, but you never hear him because they cut together only her talking. Talking about her interview with this Chris Harrison guy who's just being reasonable. Saying, cut out with the lynching of these white people just for doing normal stuff. So here is Rachel Lindsay, and listen to how nasty this woman is. Well, I think she's nasty. See what you think. It's about 2 minutes long. Listen to this.
And when I saw how this interview was going, I said, I'm just going to sit back and I'm just going to let this man talk. I'm going to hold it together. I'm going to poke just a little bit. But it was as if Chris Harrison woke up and said, you know what? I'm just going to be myself today. There was no PR on the call. There was nobody to stop him. Nobody to tell us to stop. Nobody to tell us to cut some things out. So we played the interview in its entirety on YouTube. I wanted to react so badly. And if you pay attention to that video, I'm moving my hands together. My foot is moving because I'm boiling inside. And the things that were boiling to me the most were the compassion and the grace and the space that Chris Harrison wanted to give to Rachel, but couldn't give it to this Rachel in the interview. Couldn't give it to the people that were offended by the things that she did. Where was the compassion for them? Couldn't give it to them. The other thing that really got to me was when he said, and I have this written down, the quote, "Who are you? Who is Rachel Lindsay? Who is Chris Harrison? Who are we? I mean, who the hell are you?" Basically saying, who are we to tell her when that she should apologize? Who are we to tell her that we're offended? Do you understand how problematic that is? What I wanted to shout in that conversation is, you're right, Chris Harrison, who are you? Who are you to say something because you aren't the person who's been offended by the very actions that she is affiliated with, by the things that she's done? Who is Rachel Lindsay? Rachel Lindsay is a black woman, the very person who is affected by this Rachael Kirkconnell. So I have every right to speak out and say I'm offended. I have every right to say this is what she should do. And I have every right to demand the apology.
What a psycho, huh? That's disgusting. And she's like, where's the compassion for this Rachel, meaning the black Rachel? Because it's a black Rachel, and they're lynching the white Rachel. And now they're lynching the white Chris. But not this white Chris. This is the real white Chris. Real white Christian, normal Chris. Compassion. You don't have... It's kind of like what Jesse Lee Peterson talks about. You don't have a right to be angry. And this woman did nothing to her. This white Rachel did nothing to black Rachel. All white Rachel did was exist as a white person and be a little bit free. By free, I mean have a little racist party. And it wasn't even racist. It's just a Southern party. Throwback. She's from the South. That's what Southerners do. And those times were better than these times. These times are evil. Oh, yeah, take care of business, Bear. Her hand rubbing intensified. Yeah, that's that lawyer training. Or should I say liar training. She was rubbing her hands, just vindictive the whole time, smiling in this guy's face. And boiling inside, angry, evil, offended, affected. I'm a black woman. Ridiculous. And this woman's not really that black. She plays black. She plays it up. I really kind of wish that Joel had been the Bachelor guy so that he could just be like, give me a break. This is fake. Your guys is fake. You have no basis to be offended by this woman going to a little party and dressing up like an Indian, American Indian, and then dressing up like a Southern belle. What a mess. I don't care. I could just picture Joel acting like that. But anyway, this other guy, I think this other guy, Matt James, who was their second pick behind Joel. I think this guy played like he was offended or something like that. If I read the article correctly. What a ridiculous mess, right? By the way, before I get to calls, I got a super chat towards the end of the Friday show of the Hake Report. And you remember when Tony from California made a fool of himself, smearing and slurring against white women, as he called them Becky's and Karens, just anti-white slurs, right? And I asked, what's a Becky? And he said a Becky is a woman or a person who calls the police when they have no business calling the police against blacks. And that didn't sound right to me, but I didn't call him on that. I just called him for smearing whites, right? Name calling whites for no reason. When in fact, all people call the police on blacks, including blacks themselves, and it sometimes gets them shot. Not because just the mere fact of calling the police, but how the blacks act when the cops show up. Out of control, right? Very true. Case in point, the Kenosha guy, Jacob Blake, who got himself shot in the back 4 times. The cop fired 7 or 8 shots, but only 4 hit him. Because he wouldn't drop a knife. And he was acting erratic. And a taser didn't work. A couple of times, I think a taser did not work against him. Anyway, King Alpha Nerd gave a super chat on streamlabs.com/the Hake Report, and he said, yep, I'm black, and that's not the definition of a Becky, Tony. A Becky is a white... Can I say this word? Can I say thought? A white thought. A thought is that hoe over there. T-H-O-T. As in, somebody has sex out of wedlock, right? It doesn't have to be for pay. I always thought that whore was for pay, but nowadays they use it for just somebody who's just slutty. What a shame. So that's what he says a Becky is. And Joelle and I were talking off camera, and we think that it may have come from, or may have been amplified by, the Beyonce song, Beyonce song. Becky with the good hair. I don't know. It's a line. So thank you, King Alpha Nerd, for the correction. Tony doesn't know what he's talking about, as usual. And I got a super chat from Cobra Koi 99 on Breonna Taylor. A super chat on Trovo, trovo.live/the Hake Report. The narrative was she was sleeping and she got shot in her sleep because she was black. They failed to mention that her boyfriend lived without a scratch and didn't even get charged for shooting the cops. Yeah, he didn't even get charged. That's ridiculous. At first, he said that she shot at the cops, according to the one cop who was charged for shooting errantly into other neighbors' apartment walls. Normal white Christian Chris says, skateboard white, how dare a white person go to a dress-up party? Yeah, give me a break. Where's the compassion for me being offended that you went to a party? Becky has been a trope of ditzy, airheaded girl previously. Yeah, I think that's why Beyond Z did it, because she's not original, right? She doesn't come up with these things. She repeats them that she sees on Tumblr. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. What a mess. Oh, yeah, so it didn't necessarily mean a loose woman, this Becky thing. It's just airheaded. Like a blonde or whatever. No offense to the blondes. You can't say anything. Women are, they sleep around nowadays. They think that it's a good thing. And it is so counterproductive. What a mess. I'm thinking about stuff that I've seen on Reddit with these people defending that degenerate website OnlyFans and stuff like that. Ugh. They say the line is so ridiculous, and then I will get to calls. I know I'm going long. The line is, sex work. They call it sex work, right? Is the oldest profession known to man. That's not true. It's not true. I don't think. Eve wasn't paid, and I don't think that she was necessarily doing that because she married with Adam, right? And God made Adam work the land. So that's the oldest profession, I think, to live, if you want to call it that. Farming and hunting maybe is older than whoring. But they want to pretend like whoring is a legitimate trade by complimenting it as the oldest profession. It's just a kiss up to females, out of control females. What a mess. And these are like males doing it. I mean, Reddit is just a female-minded liberal. It's almost as bad as Tumblr. Maybe even worse. Because I don't know. It's kind of representative of the degeneracy in the culture. Anyway, I got to get to some calls. My second favorite caller is on the line, Earl from Michigan. What's up, Earl? How are you doing?
Morning. Hola, buenos dias.
Hey.
This is James Hake. It's funny that you have the audacity to define who's black and who's not. Or somebody's barely black.
Right.
Who died and made you an expert on who's black?
I'm alive and I'm American and I have the freedom of speech.
You can have freedom of speech, but with that comes the realization that you're nobody's expert. You can't.
False. That's a lie.
Yeah, you are somebody's expert.
I am Jesse Lee Peterson's expert. Thank you. And since when do you have faith in experts? I thought you believed in God. You believe experts? You don't believe God?
That has nothing to do whether you believe one or the other.
No, it does.
Both of them exist.
Because
both exist.
Nope. No,
I don't care if you say nope.
Yes, I do.
I don't care when you say nope.
You sound like you care.
What you say is irrelevant. Both of them
exist. If it's so irrelevant, why'd you call?
Experts. I called to criticize your behind.
Whoa. You have not seen it.
To point out the fallacies and the lies that you tell. That's why I call.
Whatever.
Do I need to say more?
If you want.
But
the point is, experts are over-relied upon in place of common sense.
Regardless of that, they have experts.
There's such a
Jesse
thing as
calls you
common
an
sense.
expert. Are you an expert?
What does
Is
what?
Jesse lying?
What could an expert
Is
say
Jesse
that?
lying
Hold on.
when he calls you all his experts?
He says it to make a mockery of you people who believe experts.
Are you an expert?
Yes.
Then he's not lying, is he?
Right. He's not lying.
So
Jesse
experts
does not
exist,
lie.
right?
Jesse Lee Peterson never lies.
Experts exist, right?
Right, but there's an over-reliance. Hold
You're
on.
losing, fella.
Oh! There's an over-reliance
That
on...
won't work, James. James!
There's an over-reliance on experts to the point where...
That means nothing.
Hold on, man. If I say this woman is barely black, you have to get a Reddit expert on, well, actually, she actually is black. Give me a break, Earl. You're silly.
No, you arrogant.
Back at
You
you.
clown and think you can define who's black or not.
You think that
Who
this
told
woman is
you
black?
You the boss? Huh?
You think this Rachel Lindsay woman is black?
I don't even know her. But
Then?
I just know you're
You
not
don't
an
have anything to
expert
say.
to define who's black
Show a picture
just
of her
because
if you
of
can.
the color of their skin
Rachel Lindsay.
or whatever.
With an A. Why?
The lightness or darkness of their skin.
It's not about the lightness
Who are you
or
to
darkness
say
of her
who's
skin.
barely black? Who's enough
First
black?
of all, she wears
who's all
like
black?
good hair sometimes. So-called good hair.
Yeah, that's your bias and racist.
And which is even more important, she amplifies the blackness in her voice just to sound black, which is a very Obama thing to
And
do.
what's black?
And she doesn't even think like a normal,
There you
decent.
go again.
Hold on.
Defining who's black by the way they talk or way they look.
Right.
That's not
But
being
the other
black.
thing is her
You got
attitude.
blacks that talk.
Her
better
attitude is
English
very
than you do.
brainwashed. She doesn't even
That has
think like a
nothing to
normal,
do
decent
with-
black lady. Let me.
There you go
Did you
again.
even hear her?
Another stupid character and caricature of what blacks are. Why are blacks supposed to talk? You only can talk this way or look this way. Black comes in.
She talks more like a lawyer, not like a normal black person. She sounds
That's
like she's
fine.
overcompensating. She's
You
overcompensating,
got
pretending to
black-
be friends with the black community. She hates blacks.
You got blacks that.
There she is. Look
that
at this.
talk-
Give me a break. That's not a normal black
You
woman.
got blacks that
She
talk
looks like my
proper English.
cousin. She looks like my cousin
So
if my
what?
cousin dressed up
Is
as
it up to you
blackface
to define?
and
Is it up
nostrils
to
a
you
little
to
bit
define
wider.
how blacks should talk, or how they should not, or what is?
Although I
common for
think that
black-
her hair does have a little bit of blackness in it.
That's your racist bias.
I mean, she has some black in her, but the point is, she's silly. She's overcompensating. She's playing up the blackness just to be.
Well, let me get off that.
Thank you.
Because
I
in
won.
your mind, you think a black should meet your standards, or what you think a black should be, or talk, or look. Who in the heck?
It's just a side
made
comment. Jeez. Purely descriptive,
You
honestly.
need to learn. Nobody pointed you to tell who's black or not. We didn't tell you you over us to tell us who we are and who's black or who's not.
Whatever.
But
You try
I
to
wanted to
tell
talk
tell
about-
me who I am.
no, I don't.
Yeah, you do. You call me baby Hitler.
You call me a lot of things too, but that's different. I don't tell you what part white you are. You barely white.
But why do you even care?
I
Why-
don't care. I just think it's nonsensical
Right.
to make that comment when you have no authority to do something so stupid. But what I was going to point out is your caller on the Jesse Lee show that you were there.
Yeah, I dismantled it. I dismantled his fake argument.
No, you just made up opinions and lies.
No, I
about
gave
the Central
factual.
Park-
No, I gave factual information about the situation that he left out in order to
Such
smear
as?
Trump.
No, I'm talking about the Central Park Five.
Oh, her husband.
Trump
She's
be
married to a
damned.
white guy.
He is what he is.
Well, I don't know what that guy is. She's married to a guy who is not. I don't think this guy's black.
Who are you?
I'm James.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about this Rachel Lindsay guy. She got married, And her last name is not
I'm
Lindsay
off that
anymore.
subject.
I
I said
know.
I'm talking about Anthony.
Her name is Abasolo. Abasolo. Maybe Greek or maybe who knows what. Yeah.
Hey, James,
Uh-huh. Yes. Go for it.
we're off that subject. I'm talking about
Yeah.
your
but
comment about.
it was just very interesting. Rachel Lindsay is interracially married.
So,
It's just interesting.
God, you have problems. Why don't you find you a woman and get out of everybody else's business?
Maybe I will. You think that'll make me less of a
Maybe.
busybody?
Yeah, you'd be less of a Wendy Williams into everybody's business and gossip.
What's wrong? I love Wendy Williams. I love Wendy Williams. She's awesome.
I figured you would.
I mean, she's not awesome.
You
She's a
passive
mess.
aggressive,
Passive aggressive.
but
She's
yeah,
funny.
that's what guys like you are into. But
She looks pretty black.
I was talking
Hey,
about the comment about you had with Anthony, you and Jesse
Yeah,
on the Central Park 5 and so forth.
right. He
I also
embarrassed
wanted
himself.
to touch on impeachment, but
He actually
might
thought
have to say that.
he actually thought that the death penalty is murder. Give me a break.
Well, you can define it that in a way.
If you want to
It's
be
killing somebody.
if you want to be obtuse,
Yeah, it's taking someone's life.
right, which is not murder.
You can find it that way. Murder is taking someone's life too, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's a different type of taking of the life. It's
But you're
unjust.
still taking someone's life.
It doesn't mean that it doesn't make it murder. Just because you're Hispanic doesn't mean you're Mexican.
No,
Two different categories.
that's a different.
There's
That's a
murder.
different country.
Right.
Hispanic covers all Hispanics, but
Yeah,
different countries.
Hispanic
Not-
is kind of like
not
taking
just
someone's
one.
life.
Mexican
Hold on.
Mexican is a Pacific country.
Right, and murder is a
that covers
specific taking of a life.
Pacific.
And murder is a specific type of taking of a life. There is justified killing and there is unjustified killing. A murder is a type of unjustified killing.
Well, it all depends on who's doing the killing.
Whatever.
For instance, let's say in a
Who, what, when, where, why,
in a-
how.
let's say in a foreign country, let's say where you got
I don't really feel like getting
what do you
into this,
call them?
Earl.
Dictators and so forth.
Right.
If they legally they may kill one of their competitors.
Right. It might
Have
be
them
legal,
killed.
but it's a murder. Yeah,
And it's
I
a
got you.
murder.
I got your point. Okay.
Okay. But I was going to talk about, like I say, get back to Central Park 5 and your knowledge and you're pointing out that they were guilty and so forth.
I didn't say what they were guilty of, but they were definitely guilty. But go on.
You also said they confessed
Right.
to, which was false.
That's not false. One of them said this was my first rape. According to a report from Daily Wire, which is a reputable news source run by the great Ben Shapiro, who never lies, one of the Central Park Five said this was my first rape. He didn't write that
Of
article,
course,
but somebody else did.
he said that under duress.
There's no evidence. There's no evidence of that.
There can be no evidence. The only people that were
Kind of
there
like
were the
voter
police.
fraud, huh? Kind of like voter
Do you-
shenanigans.
do-
There can be no
do you
evidence
think
of
the
voter
police-
fraud.
Do you think the police going to tell on themselves?
Do you think the voters
say
are gonna tell on
there's evidence
themselves? I heard the
we,
confessions are on video.
Of course, when they got them out of hours and hours of pressuring them and not threatening to let them go, and that their other cohorts were telling the other investigators that they're pointing to them. Now,
Let's put that aside. Let me make a separate point, a bigger point about the whole situation. Because never mind this whole thing. You can watch the videos though if you're really interested. But let me talk about the whole bigger situation of the issue of what was called wilding, which was young people, mostly black and some Hispanic, going through Central Park in the early 90s, late 80s, and maybe before that, maybe since, what they were called wilding, which was beating, robbing, raping, sometimes killing people. Just being rioting, basically, and thieving and being criminals. This was a huge issue. And they caught 5 guys, these Central Park 5, the teenagers. One of them was an adult, one of them, and the rest were underage, if I recall correctly.
One was 17.
Right,
If
okay,
you call
fine.
that, the oldest was 17.
All right, thank you.
At the time.
But the bigger point is, we had a major violent crime problem among young, what you might call juveniles, and just older than juveniles in some cases. It was a major problem, and yet the blacks want to turn it around, and the liberals want to turn it around and cry racism against Trump for wanting to take strong legal action to execute somebody who would do a violent crime, such as what was committed against that Central Park jogger, where she almost lost her life because she lost so much blood and she was raped and she couldn't even remember the incident she lost so much blood. Like, how is that not backwards? Just obviously backwards in you people's minds. You blame Trump for something you blame Trump when you should be looking at the bigger actual problem of violent crime.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
See, the question is not whether they were, as you call, wilding going on. The question is, were these particular kids guilty of what was charged?
At the time, everybody thought that they were guilty. Earl.
They thought.
Earl. And they had.
That's what I'm saying.
And in fact, they have never been exonerated. They confessed. There was evidence. There was all kinds of stuff to implicate them in at least the beating, if not the rape. And one of them confessed to the rape.
Let's explore
So
that.
the going theory is that they committed the beating, and then later on that Hispanic guy raped her. That's what some speculate. But the point is, at the time they were guilty.
Nope. Let's challenge your premise that they confessed.
No, you already tried to say that was under duress. That's old news. I'm not rehashing that dumb argument.
No. You don't get away with it.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. It's my show. If I'm bored with this conversation.
Put it in context. The point was, they confessed that the other one did it. Because the police was saying that in the other offices, these guys, as they usually do with police tactics and interrogations, they saying that you did it, and you're the one that's going to go down by yourself unless you point to what happened or whatever. So what they confessed to was confessing that the other person did it and not them.
One of them said this was my first rape.
Yeah, under hours and hours without.
Is that? Are you saying he lied?
Listen, yes, he did.
You have no proof of that. You're just pretending to know. You have no clue.
After hours of duress.
No, you don't have any. No, you don't know what you're talking about, Earl. I gotta run. Nice
yes, I
talking with
do.
you.
Yes, I do.
You do not.
Because I was.
They were never exonerated.
Listening to it live, and you heard of a guy named Bob Law, have you?
I gotta go, Earl.
You haven't heard of Bob Law?
I'm going to go, Earl. Nice talking with you. What a mess. Okay, let me talk with Art in Ohio.
Do that to you, so don't do it. And that's what I'm saying.
Art,
my mom is that way. How you doing?
What the heck? You talking already?
Man,
who are you talking to?
Yeah, I was talk to my fam.
Oh, okay.
So check this out. So what's up with you? Hey,
not much, man.
You all right?
Yes, sir. How about you?
Hey, man, I'm all right. So let's look. I get on cue right at the drop of a dime. So check it out. All right, let me get. I watched a little trial the other day for
Oh,
Trump.
You did? I didn't even bother watching anyway. How was it?
Well, I watched it, and somehow I happened to click on because I haven't really been following or whatnot.
Yep.
And I was just listening to all the guilties and the not guilties, and I'm just proud that the alpha Republicans and stood up for what was right. And I'm just disappointed at all the liberals that voted to try to convict him. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I want to tell the American people to take note and just make sure we got to get the election together and get this little situation together that went on this past election that we know that went right. That with this going on right now, I can't say what I want to say because they're trying to mess with you. Long story short, I'm talking about with the F, the F situation with the election,
the shenanigans.
So the shenanigans, as we know.
Yep.
So I do want to say, I do want to tell the Alpha Republicans, I'm proud of y'all, and I'm glad that y'all stood up for what was right. And
nice.
your Father God is proud of y'all too. And they read off all the names when they were saying the guilties, all the people who voted to try to convict him. Y'all will be coming out of office because we're going to get this election stuff together. Ain't going to be none of that cheating to get in there or any of that shenanigans. So we're going to get y'all, we're just going to vote y'all up out of there. So we know who you are. We don't like your communist socialism in America. You see what I'm saying? It's a capitalist country. It's supposed to be. And we ain't for that. You see what I'm saying?
There's a lot of fakes who voted to exonerate Trump, but they knew politically it would be bad for them. So our eyes are on them too. It would be nice to get rid of Mitch McConnell and these other sleazy people who are fake, who even though they voted to acquit Trump because this whole thing is fake, they're no alphas. Some of these people are not alphas.
Yeah, exactly. I know that, but I heard a couple of them saying not guilty, and I can hear it in their voice. They serious. You can hear it. You can tell when
nice. That's cool.
When a person speak and how direct they are when they answer something, if they an alpha or a beta.
Okay.
Alphas tend to speak more assertive.
Right.
We say what we mean and mean what we say, and we stand on what we say.
Yeah.
We die for what we say and what we believe in.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure all the Americans that feel like they were taken advantage of, they feel like me. I don't like no thief. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I'm gonna go back. I'm 34 years old, and I can go back to when I was in the streets, in my younger days, when I was about 18, 19. And I'm a pretty light-skinned dude. I'm a handsome. They call me a pretty boy back in the day, but I'm a handsome young man.
Right.
So me being a redskin, Native American Indian and / Negro, when I get mad, I get real red.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. Okay. So
I didn't know you were part Indian.
Yeah, I always say that Native American / Negro.
It never stuck with me.
Say.
All right.
Yeah, always. So long story short.
No, when you said Native American, I thought you meant you were born in this country and you have a long history in this country. That's what I thought you meant. Because I'm Native American like that too. Because I was born here.
I got you.
And I have a long history here.
I'm with you.
Okay, but you just meant like American Indian. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, for sure. Long story short, they would try to take advantage of me and try to steal from me when I be in the streets. And this goes with any business or anything. You can own a store, anything. If people try to rob and take from you, and that's your livelihood, you would try to hurt them because that's the only way you know how to eat.
Right.
And I got into a lot of stuff behind defending my manhood and defending what's mine, what I rightfully own. Because even when I was in the street, I wasn't out here taking from nobody. You see what I'm saying? I was working for what I earned. You see what I'm saying? And I'm just saying, you want to use my situation because I know how the American people feeling like they've been cheated, and it ain't good. And we ain't forgot.
Right.
We ain't forgot. We ain't just cool with this so-called Biden in office, and they need to get to the bottom of it. Ain't nobody. You not just wash this under the rug. We ain't forget. Y'all need to get it figured out expeditiously, immediately. And then one more thing, I got into a confrontation with my mom. It wasn't really a confrontation because I told her, honey, you really don't know politics, so you need to just hush your mouth. talking about she likes some Nancy Pelosi. You know what I mean?
She said that? Your mother said she likes Nancy Pelosi?
I said, yes, she sure did. And I said, what do you like about Nancy Pelosi? So she said, I like what she said in the impeachment trials after she was saying that they showed the evidence. I said, Mom, they have been lying these last two impeachments. The news has been lying. That's what came out in the trial. Did you watch the trial?
Right.
She said, I watched. I said, you clearly weren't listening to it then. You up here supporting the person that likes to lie.
What a shame.
And that's what a shame. And it's like, I don't know what the hell they did to that lad, my mom's, the boomer, the 56-year-old.
Right.
And that generation, like Earl and Tony, I don't know if they put a chip in y'all, but y'all are brain dead. And it's sad. It ain't even fun. It's like real sad. Because they don't even see it.
I was going to say, like, your mother has no business as a woman even being concerning herself with politics. But
No, she doesn't.
But then you
She
brought
don't
up
know nothing
Earl.
about it.
But then you brought up Earl and Tony and these other guys. That's them neither. They're ridiculous.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because they all in that same age group. And these people don't know nothing. They don't watch nothing. They don't even, the people that they support, they don't know nothing about their family life.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing about the district that they live in. I was telling my mom, I said, you supporting a lady where the homeless people are walking on the street just taking poops and peeing on the concrete.
Yeah.
And they have to pay city workers to come out and spray the sidewalk. Are you crazy?
It's a disgrace.
Do you want that? That's a disgrace. And let me tell you this, they can't say all them homeless people are down there crazy. No, they are pooping and peeing in front of them people that's eating at their restaurants.
Yeah.
Because they telling you, how they're basically telling you they F you and you can watch me take a poop.
Right.
Because they're hurt. They're hurt because you don't sold them out.
Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi and my mom, y'all are bad, man. Up
Yeah,
here
it's
supporting
ridiculous.
Nancy Pelosi. Ridiculous, but the thing is, go ahead, cuz, you ain't gonna get it until we into a civil war. Ain't no, everybody getting tired of keep trying to say the same thing.
Right.
A whole bunch of females running their mouth about nothing. They don't know nothing about nothing, and they ain't gonna throw a punch or shed no blood. They doing a whole bunch of talking. God bless you, man.
I appreciate
love
you, Art.
Hake.
Thank you.
Tell Joel to keep his eyes off of AOC, and because she's allegedly she's mine.
Did you
and
color
I've been
with
watching it.
You went coloring with her the other day?
I went coloring with her. Let me. Okay, print. Let me give you a parental warning. We playing about this, listeners.
Right.
Because I ain't really dating. Because you know you liberals, you can't make a joke with you because you take everything to heart. So yeah, I was coloring with AOC all last weekend, and I'm still been washing my hands trying to get the markers off my fingers from coloring, man. All the little marks all over my finger. I don't think I can date her no more. It's too much coloring involved.
Yeah. I don't blame you, Art.
All right,
Take
have
care,
a good one, man. Catch you later.
too.
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to get to the rest of the callers, guys. Hang tight. I got to take a couple of minute break. It's too hot in here. Get some air. But I will be right back in a couple of minutes, and I will get right to the calls. T in Alabama coming up next. And the rest of you, Raphael, Killian, and the rest of the callers, hang tight, and we will get to you. I'll be right back. Shout out to Dark Side of the Bear What and Cobra Koi 99, Marcus _Jones _stinks, and Saverio _Jones for the support on trovo.live/The Hake Report. And by the way, somebody gave me a super chat. Cobra Koi says Earl might have only water fountain at his house. Somebody asked Earl if he was wildin' in the 80s. It's so ridiculous. I made the point, and Earl just glossed over it, ignored it because he ignores common sense, that there was a major problem, and to this day, there's a major problem of black violent crime. And when one guy wants to punish somebody who they pretend is falsely accused, they call it racist. And they want to completely ignore the major issue of this black and sometimes Hispanic violent crime going on. Rampant since the Democrats started making blacks feel right for being wrong. And the rhinos kissing up as well. What a disgrace. There are a bunch of other lynchings, by the way, going on against the against whites on these so-called TV shows, the entertainment world, right? They make public examples of reasonable people, or people who at least try to be somewhat reasonable, including, that Chris Harrison guy who's host of The Bachelor. There's been a wave of public figures, according to The Hollywood Reporter, which is a far-left sleazy outlet, seeing swift consequences for problematic behavior. Problematic is a liberal word, is a far-left radical communist word, honestly. That includes the Mandalorian star. You may be familiar with this story, Gina Carano, who was fired from the Disney Plus series. The Mandalorian is like a Star Wars spinoff. Over so-called offensive comments. It was offensive to liberals because it was telling the truth about liberals. She was basically comparing what they're doing to Trump supporters to what happened in Nazi Germany, reportedly, right? According to history books. And it was accurate. And they proved her right by getting rid of her, too. She made that on social media comparing something, Nazi stuff. Disney also famously, a few years ago, fired former The Fallen State guest, Roseanne Barr. Remember Roseanne? Kind of a gruff comedian woman. She used to host Roseanne, and now she hosts another, I think she's part of a degenerate show. No, actually, the show is going on without her, I think. From ABC comedy show following so-called, what they call a racist tweet. Journalists back in the day used to put racist in quotes, right? What some call racist, and they put it in quotation marks, or just qualify it as some call it racist. But now they're just pretending that it's objectively racist, even this imaginary term, right? Imaginary notion. And the tweet was comparing Valerie Jarrett, who she didn't even know is black, to a Planet of the Apes woman. Planet of the Apes star person. Ape. And it's racist. You can't compare a black to an ape. But Valerie Jarrett's barely black. Isn't she mixed Iranian, partly from Iran and black or something like that? And Iran is kind of like Persian. Is almost, some people even think that it's a little bit white. What a mess. Roseanne is a degenerate, yeah. But she's not fired for being a degenerate. She's fired for calling out a worse degenerate, Valerie Jarrett. Valerie Jarrett being a disgusting close advisor to the disgusting Barack Obama. Government official, public official. Ridiculous. Let me get to T in Alabama. He's been on hold forever. He wants to ask me a question. What's up, T?
Hey, what's up, man?
Nothing.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Your last caller, man. Well, what's his name?
Art from Ohio.
Okay.
A hero of common sense and honesty and truth. A true alpha.
Okay. Yeah, true fool. True fool don't have no idea what he's talking about. He just babbling and babbling.
Give me an example of a point that he made that was babbling.
Well, the point of him just is, he thinks his opinion is the truth. He just got to.
No. Give me an example of something that he said rather than just criticizing general terms.
What he said.
Yeah.
Basically, the thing he said, man, as far as women or people need to just shut up, don't know nothing about voting. The election was a fraud. We gonna do this. I mean, he's living in a fantasy land. Wake up, brother. Okay.
Okay, he's gonna take that advice from you, buddy.
Okay. No. Joe Biden is your president, so get over it. Ain't nothing to change, man. Okay.
That wasn't his point.
Go on with your life.
You missed the point.
Stupid. Stupid. He's just a young, 34-year-old, angry young brother. That's all that is.
And you're an angry old brother.
No, man. I'm a brother with sense. Let me tell you something, okay?
No, you're angry. Come on, T. Be honest.
No, I'm not angry, man. I'm not angry.
Art made some good points. He pointed out how ridiculous Earl and Tony are. I don't know if he called you out specifically. And then his mother didn't even know stuff that was going on. Her mother thought that Nancy Pelosi was a good person. Give me a break.
Well,
I heard
that's his mother. Okay, and he thinks Donald Trump is a good person.
He
So,
is.
I mean, who has the truth?
Art does.
Okay.
Art does, and you don't.
I mean, that just is so petty.
Art may be hit and miss. He may not know everything.
Like I told you, man, I voted for Trump. Okay, this last election, I voted for Trump.
That's nice.
Okay, and like I said, not that I'm saying Trump is just this great person, this and that. I voted for him.
Right. That's good.
I think a lot of stuff he do is ridiculous. And did I think he had an influence on them?
Name a ridiculous thing that Trump does or has done.
Some of his rhetoric, man. I mean, even you know that. Some of the stuff he says is stupid.
Not true.
Okay?
I love everything that he says, almost.
Well, some of the stuff he says on Twitter. Okay?
On Twitter?
I understand Trump is not a ordinary politician. Okay?
He's real.
And
He's
like
not a phony.
Style.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah, but sometimes you still got to have some decorum about yourself.
Oh no, he's perfectly appropriate given whatever circumstances. In the right context, he behaves
as the leader
quite well.
As the leader of the world, sit there and say these asshole countries, these those sons of bitches and all.
He didn't say a-hole. Hold on, Tony. T. He didn't say
those asshole countries. Okay.
Hold on. That was only. Hold on, T. Hang on. That was said, if it was said at all, that was said behind closed doors. It wasn't said on camera. So you people who bring this up.
He denied he didn't say it?
I don't know. I don't remember if he denied saying it or not.
No,
but it's irrelevant. Hold on, T. Hold on.
He never denied it.
Hold on. You don't know that. Whether he said it or not is kind of irrelevant because he did not say it out in public.
Okay.
And beside the point, that's true. These countries are undesirable countries from which to bring mass refugees and so-called immigrants.
Well, the same way he didn't say, grabbing females by the piece.
That was not said as president. That was said 15, 16 years ago.
I understand that, but right, I understand it.
And that was said behind closed doors. Aren't you more hold on, T. Let me stop you there. Aren't you more disgusted by the people who repeat these let's call them ugly statements, right? They're not the prettiest statements to say or repeat. Aren't you more disgusted by the people who endlessly repeat those statements? Like nasty, malicious, grudge-holding people? Rather than the man himself who has not repeated those statements in public? You've never heard him say either one of those things in public. T.
Yeah, you there, man?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Aren't you more disgusted by the people repeating it rather than him? Because he hasn't said those things publicly.
Well, repeat, talking about the S-hole country?
Yeah, the SH blank blank hole countries and the grab them by the P word. He never said those statements publicly.
Okay, but he never denied he didn't say it. Okay, somebody lied.
Hold on, man. You're missing my point. I asked you, aren't you more disgusted? Aren't you more disgusted by the people repeating those dirty statements rather than him himself, who never repeated those statements in public?
Not really, no.
That's because you yourself, yourself are a dirty person.
Well, no, that's not the point. My point is this: he never denied it, right? Can you tell me?
That's not a point. It's irrelevant whether he said it or not.
No. Did he ever say he didn't say it?
What's wrong with saying it?
Yes or no?
What's wrong with saying it, T?
Okay.
What's wrong with saying SH blank blank whole countries?
Okay. Anyway, my
hold on,
point is
T. I'm putting him on hold. T, you're on hold. Nobody's hearing you. What's wrong with calling? Let's call it a dirty country, just for a short, right? What's wrong with calling a dirty country a dirty country? Let me hear him answer that.
Okay, it's nothing wrong with saying it if you're saying it as the president of the United States. There's a certain way you say things, James.
No.
Okay.
Nope. Not behind closed doors. You talk like a normal human being, T.
No.
Yes.
Like I said, but anyway, man, just get away from that. But my point is, like I said, my point is for Trump. Yeah, I voted for him, but like I said, some of the stuff he said in the past, why he's been president, like I said, that grabbing the female by the P thing, that's in the past. There ain't no big deal.
Right.
Okay. I've said plenty of stuff that folks haven't heard.
Right.
Okay. But so that's no big deal. I'm talking as far as him being the president of the United States. Some of the stuff he said, it's stupid. Okay.
Do you stop being a human being who talks normally? I mean, he should talk. He should be allowed to talk normally, even as president.
Okay. Well, you ain't a normal human being when you're president of the United States.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes, you are.
All right.
Have you heard some of the ridiculous things that
don't do normal stuff, right?
All presidents have said ridiculous cuss words behind closed doors?
All right, but anyway,
at least the recent ones.
Let me get to my question.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just get off Tony, whatever that dude's name is. He's just young and stupid, man.
Art from Ohio is smarter than you.
Art, yeah. Art. Yeah. He just what do you say, the Indian and Negro?
Yeah.
He's just that's how young mutt. But
wow, it's so malicious. Jeez, so nasty.
I just want to. Well, no, I mean,
where's your decorum? Where's your decorum as an elder? Aren't you an elder?
Hey, I'm keeping it real.
Are you a Christian?
Okay. He likes to get. Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Where's your decorum as an elder?
But anyway, man.
Yeah. Anyway.
I want to say this to you, man. I know this, your show, and I know I'm gonna just call you Minnie Jesse, because you try your best to try to be like your master, Jesse Lee.
Are you going to get to your point? Yeah. Or are you just going to keep on giving side female comments, female-minded side comments?
You got facts versus truth on your show.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But a lot of stuff, and I'm going to say 98% of the junk that y'all put out has no truth and no facts to it.
And yet you watch.
Okay.
And you watch all 100% of what we put out.
I mean, seriously, because, seriously, in a way, y'all a little entertaining, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, nice. Appreciate it.
Jesse,
and I'm white, but I'm entertaining because I dock to blacks.
It's entertaining.
Thank you.
To listen to a lot of really weak-minded, and I'm going to say this, a lot of weak-minded white, a lot of them males that call in and just hinge on every word you guys say, okay? And I know just like we were just talking about Trump, how Trump say stuff, he got a base, okay? He like to say the thing his base like to hear.
Just judging the callers.
Okay? No,
they're judging you too.
Well, hey, right. We all judge, James. Okay? Yeah. And that's not saying God. That's just human nature. We all judge.
Okay, whatever you say, T.
If I say you got an ugly shirt on, I'm judging your shirt, right?
But you wouldn't say that.
So we all judge. So, that bull crap that you just to sit back and talk about if you judge you God, that's stupid as hell. So, but y'all scared to call
Okay, Pastor T.
Okay. No, I'm just
Yes, sir.
Again, man, just being real.
67
Like
IQT, says Chad Tucker.
Anyway, man, I know y'all like to play to your base and all this. I know you got callers that know majority of the stuff. That
I thought you were going to get to a point.
Point.
You're just rambling.
No, I'm not rambling.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are.
If you just shut up and let me finish.
I know, but you're making comments that you don't know that aren't true. Just saying that we're pandering to our base. I don't even know what that means.
You know exactly what it means.
Nuh-uh, because I'm just being the best shot at being myself that I can be.
Don't stop it, man. Stop stuttering.
Huh?
You know exactly what I mean, man.
Stop stuttering.
You talk bull crap. Y'all talk bull crap for these weak-minded white folks to call them.
You've already said this. You've already said this. Shut up. Shut up.
Y'all, every word that y'all say, regardless, without any facts or truth, just like your church say, your shirt say, no truth, no facts in anything you say.
All right.
But your crowd, your people, the majority white folks, love to hear y'all say it, and they'll never challenge y'all on it.
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Some of them do.
No.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Yeah, there was a Canadian caller, I think. He said that I was too nice to Donning Armour. That I let Donning Armour get away with calling himself a moderate or something like that, when in fact he's an extremist.
Well, like I say, I use y'all show, man, as little entertainment to get over a little boredom. Because, like I said, some of these calls that call on y'all show are straight out sad, pitiful, this and that, man.
Yeah, no, that's funny. And back at you.
Whining about their mama, what their mama done, messed their lives up and all.
Maybe you should try it.
It's sad, man.
Do you ever reflect on Jesse's points? Because he makes good common sense points about
It makes no sense, man.
Okay,
no.
Interesting.
Okay, Jesse still hate his
See,
mother.
you can be exposed. Like people can read the whole Bible, just like they can listen to the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and just be utterly closed off to the truth.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you something.
This is an example.
About y'all little church thing. And I peeked at some of your reruns. I know that Jesse Lee, the Reverend Jesse Lee Peterson, in this so-called church program, I notice he don't have a Bible on the show.
Does.
And, am I correct on that?
No, you're incorrect. Sometimes he doesn't, but oftentimes he does.
But I've never seen him open it up.
Did you know that the word is within him?
Okay, but Jesse knows nothing about
and that's in the Bible.
Jesse, man, listen, Jesse have no idea. That's why. And I see why he
I gotta go, man.
Any of his questions, man.
I gotta go. We can talk again, T. Yeah. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Later.
All right.
T like a bee buzzing all up in your face.
T like a bee buzzing all up in your face. See, I have flow. Joel, did you hear me talking about fantasizing about you being the Bachelor and mocking this whole mockery of a controversy?
I missed it.
I was like, if Joel had taken the job, because he was the number one pick. Well, I don't know if he was the number one, but he could have been the Bachelor, and this could have been the controversy with this woman. Although I don't think you would have picked her, but you could have been like, I don't see the problem. It's nothing. No big deal. Doesn't bother me.
Right.
Have a plantation.
I would have got canceled so hard.
I know. But I think that, I don't know. To me, I think that blacks have a pressure, just like the whites have a pressure to apologize, blacks have a pressure to play offended on behalf of the community.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You look weak, especially in the black community, because the black community will make you feel like you're weak if you don't stand up or...
Right.
Yeah.
When in reality, the strength is being yourself.
Yeah.
And not being offended. Where's the strength in being offended? Ridiculous. Anyway, I got to get to calls. You guys have been on hold forever. Killian is up next out of Boston, Mass. Killian, how are you doing?
Guten Morgen, Kameraden.
Hey, guten Tagen to you because it's daytime for you now, or afternoon.
Yeah, I had to switch it up for you.
Appreciate that.
I got to counter Earl's Mexican gobbledygook language.
Right. Cool.
No, all these people calling in and saying that you have all these evil white collars calling in. I just wanted to let them know that I'm the big bad wolf.
But you're
I
not
don't
whining
deny
about
it.
your mama.
I'm not ashamed. I'm not going to be cowed into submission.
Yeah, I know, and we need more of that. By the way, I've never heard you whining about your mother.
No, she died when I was on military deployment when I was 22.
Wow, interesting. Did you ever do Jesse Lee Peterson's forgiveness that he recommends? Not his forgiveness, but the recommend.
Yeah, I called him up maybe a year ago.
Your father?
Asking him how I could forgive her.
Oh, okay. You called. Okay.
Even though she was dead.
Wow, I didn't remember that.
I've forgiven her. I knew she did the best she could.
Yeah.
I mean, her and my dad split up before I could remember anything, and I was raised by her, but I was basically the man of the house growing up as the oldest son. And I actually beat up one of her boyfriends one night when he was drunk.
Interesting. Wow. My grandfather, I heard a story that my grandfather threw out my great-grandfather who was a drunk, and then he threw out my great-step-grandfather who was also a drunk. I heard. That's what I heard. That was the gossip from my mother, who was not even there. Anyway.
No,
Wow.
but I was going to call up about this fake impeachment. Nonsense.
For the second time, they just, to me, they just discredit themselves. They discredit the government, not Trump.
It's all such a joke. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just another example of clown world.
Yep. Good point. Very true. You know, do you think that, because I have a theory that this insanity is meant to get under the skin of sensible people, white people, and all sensible people, no matter the race, to just get under the skin of the conservatives, make them angry, and when we're angry, we don't act right sometimes. And I think that it's like a troll, because they knowingly act insane, just completely ignore how evil they were with supporting Black Lives Matter and the Antifa insurrection.
It's called gaslighting 101.
Yeah.
They blatantly stole the election, and they don't even deny it anymore. They're like, yeah, we stole it, but you can't prove it.
I haven't read that Time Magazine article. Does that Time Magazine article basically say that? Have you read it?
I haven't read it. I
Okay.
mean, but I've heard second.
I'll have to read it. Yeah.
Basically, they admit that they stole the election. I mean, they didn't even have to admit it. I mean,
everybody knew. I mean, everybody watched how they endlessly smeared President Trump. And from before he even won the presidency, they were smearing him falsely.
Well, they just hate him so much because he's a proud white man. And, And there's all this anti-white hatred.
Right, and he's not even
basically the avatar for white people that aren't ashamed to say that they're proud of themselves.
Yeah.
And so he had to be destroyed.
Yep.
And so they rigged it blatantly, and now they're just bragging about it.
Yep. It's crazy.
But I wait till Friday. There's a big Supreme Court cases coming down the line. I know you're not into all the Q nonsense and stuff, but I don't know. I have a little bit of hope that something big might be coming down the line. Everyone was saying Trump's been real quiet this past couple of weeks with the impeachment going on.
Yeah.
And they said, and a lot of the leftists, they said they're actually worried because Trump's been so quiet.
Yeah, who knows? I like how Trump is a fighter to the end, and I love that about him. I don't have high hopes in terms of the Supreme Court ever making the right decision, but I look forward to what's to come.
Well, there's some reports that the Supreme Court Justice Roberts is going to have to be recused because some of the claims in the cases are about him being compromised.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Well, as I say, don't get your hopes up, but it is going to be interesting.
But you don't want to just be hopeless your whole life, you know?
Right. But I just have zero faith in basically humanity to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Except for people who have demonstrated courage.
Well, don't have hope in humanity. Have hope in God.
Yes. That makes sense.
I mean, stranger things have happened.
Yep.
The truth is stranger than fiction because fiction has to make sense.
Yeah, that's true. It's wild. I never saw this crazy stuff coming. Anyway, what were you going to say?
Well, eternal struggle is eternal growth. But I was going to say, on a lighter note, a lot of people in the chat are saying in that video that Jesse plays of Skid Row.
Oh, yeah.
Every top of the hour.
Uh-huh.
That it's actually Earl. He's the guy sleeping in the bushes.
That's
Everyone
funny.
keeps repeating that over and over, that Earl's sleeping in the bushes.
I don't think that it's Earl, but it is. I mean, things have only gotten worse since that time. That was taped in the 90s, early 90s, and it's worse today.
It's spiritually Earl sleeping in the bushes.
He's a mess. He's ridiculous.
I tried to call into Jesse earlier, but you can never get to that guy. He's too popular.
Yeah, the lines are full pretty much right away. But if you call early and often, you can call early and often.
Like 5 minutes before the show even starts.
Well, we don't even accept calls that early. I mean, you can be calling, but you won't get on hold even. We turn on the phone. I mean, we just start accepting and putting people on hold and taking their names pretty much at the top of the hour. But you're right. Sometimes all of our lights are blinking. All of our lines are blinking. And as soon as we turn on the thing, they all get filled. So,
well, how come it's so easy to get into your show?
Slightly less popular. Just slightly.
Just slightly.
But I'm coming up. I'm nipping at his heels. What's that?
It's just slightly less tough to get into your show.
Right. That's why you hear from Maze all the time on my show.
Oh, yeah. They get it on speed dial.
Yep.
Earl,
anyway,
I don't know what he's got. Earl's got some sort of automatic dialer set up.
Oh, yeah. He always wants to comment on something that I said the day before or during the Jesse Lee Peterson show.
Oh,
Maze in a daze.
He's always got some sort of gripe.
Yep. Bitter people, but entertaining for sure.
Well, someone has to speak up from the other side, and I think that's me.
Yeah.
And everyone keeps on saying there's these boogeyman white supremacists out there, and I don't know, maybe they're right.
You're just a sensible person.
Yeah. Everyone's like, oh, what are white people more supreme at? And you know what I tell them? I say, white people are as supreme at making communities that people want to live in.
Good point. Last question. Where does the name Killian come from? I may have asked you this before.
When I was in middle school, I used to play Dungeons and Dragons, and I had a hero character I used to play, and I randomly picked the name Killian.
Oh, okay.
After the Irish beer, Killian's Irish Red.
Okay. Interesting. So it wasn't your
cool.
So it wasn't your given name. It's not your Christian name. Okay.
No. I definitely have a Christian name.
Right. I like that term for first name, right?
And doxing and all that stuff works.
Oh,
so
yeah. No, I don't.
You never really want to give your real name.
Right. I'm too dumb to think of that, so I just put James Anton Hake for everything.
Well, I mean, you guys put your face out on the internet.
Yeah,
so
that's true. And I work for a man who won't fire me. At least not for saying normal, true things, like so many other people get fired for saying.
Did the SPLC ever call up Jesse and tell him to fire you for being a racist?
Not that I've heard, but who knows?
No.
We get a lot of calls, so I may not have heard of it yet.
You never got a call from the head grabblers?
Nope. They want me to fire Jesse. No, I'm kidding.
They want you to fire Jesse. How does that work?
I don't know. Some people think that Jesse works for me. At least some of the blacks do. Anyway,
well, I mean,
Killian.
You could always sell them out and then go get a job at the Turning
Starbucks?
Point USA, you know?
Oh, yeah, Turning Point. I'm sure they would take me in a heartbeat. It's good talking with you, Killian.
You just got to disavow them, and then, boom, you get a job making $100K a year working for Turning Point USA.
I don't know if I can grovel that much. But it's good to hear from you, man. Yeah. Take care.
Yeah, definitely.
And good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Let me quickly get to Raphael in Vancouver, Canada. Raphael, am I pronouncing your name right?
Yes, sir.
Nice. Good to hear from you.
Hey, man. What's up from Canada?
Nothing much. What's up with you?
Chilling, snowing.
Are you
lazy Monday.
Are you the one who called me and said I was too nice to donning armor? Or was that a different Canadian?
I think it was a different one.
Okay.
Because I'd probably tell you to go harder on them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, bro, like, I'm just impressed with you, man. You and Jesse be mopping the floor with these liberals today, bro.
It's fun to talk to these guys, although it's sometimes it's like mind-numbingly silly, the things that they get into.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to talk to, like, Earl, T, Mays, all these people, like, and I want to ask you this too. Like, do you get this sense that, you know, now that Camel Toe's in charge, now the Dems are in charge, like, you know, they control all three branches of government. Do you get the sense that now we don't have to talk? We can just see how it is if evil's in charge? You know what I mean? And then
no, I don't really.
You need to use words anymore. You can use the proof of what Camel Toe does to America.
That's kind of an interesting point. You can do that to a point. I think you always have to point out the obvious. You'll notice that President Trump has always been good at pointing out the obvious of people because some people really are blind to the obvious situation. For example, like this whole racism thing is such a phony concern. And it takes the boy who called out the emperor who had no clothes to awaken and jar the people or shake them from their fear or whatever to point out the truth. You always have to point out the obvious truth, I think. So
for sure.
I think we do have to continue talking. And it's kind of good for the conservatives too, because this Trump presidency really mobilized the evil people because the evil people really just hated him. So they were motivated by their hatred towards Trump to do this. And then they pretended to love the country. Well, we should be motivated by love for the country and for what's right to oppose this huge conglomeration of evil. I noticed that they can't get along, though. I noticed that Bill de Blasio is pretending to call out Andrew Cuomo, talking about the New York mayor versus the New York governor. And so people are not getting along. The World Health Organization is not getting along with the US or the UK. And the World Health Organization is kind of going along with China. And so it's a lot of confusion amongst the evil people. But they are going to be able to do a lot of damage, I think.
Yeah. Right, for sure. Like, that's so true. And I think America needs to kind of understand what it's up against. Like, because, you know, if America stood up and, like, you know, forced Trump in or stood up for, like, a real election, the world would, like, come down on you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it's like, now it really is a battle of good and evil. Like, it's so intense.
Right. It's true.
Yeah. And, man, I just wanted to tell you a story, bro. Like, so I'm renting out my second bedroom. So I'm learning a lot about people and women because these girls will be renting out my second bedroom.
So you're a man and you have an apartment or a house with 2 bedrooms and you're living in the first bedroom and you're renting to some girls in the second bedroom?
Yeah, I am.
Wow.
Right? And I thought it was a fun idea at first. I was like, oh, dang. I had this beautiful girl renting my room.
That's funny.
Like, I want to ask you a question, Hake, because, like, you know, in the fallen state, right? Like, where do men end up in the fallen state. We turn into betas. We turn to drugs and alcohol. You know, we hold anger. But where do women end up in the fallen state? Like, that's my question for you, because I just rent my room out, and this chick's been living here for 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
She has had 10 black guys over already in 2 weeks.
Are you serious? 10. Are you trolling me?
10 into her room. And
it's a white girl?
She's Filipino, but the white girl that lived before her record was 50 guys in 1 year. So
wow.
50 guys in 1 year for the first one. Now this one's already at 5 in 1 week.
What made you, and you're not trolling me? This is true?
Big facts, man. And this one, for some reason, they're all black. Like, she loves black guys.
Right, yeah. What made you rent to a girl again after doing it the first time?
Great question. Oh, I just want to say what's up to Brandon
pretty?
Johnson, man. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
bro,
you said she's pretty. He kind of answered his question.
Well, I mean, this second one, she's got a big donk, so that's why the clientele is that.
I don't know what that means, and I don't want you to explain it.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, Joel. Keep it clean, man. You're calling Kamala by dirty names. This is a child-friendly, family-friendly show, Raphael. I know you Canadians are total degenerates, even like the nice. Are you Christian? Are you Christian?
Well, I'm a halfer. Like, my mom was Catholic.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then my dad wasn't, so I'm just like stuck in the middle,
Was your dad an atheist, like an ex-Catholic or something?
He was just like a pothead, like a.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Are you a pothead?
I am, bro. I'm trying to
I can
stop.
tell.
Dang, man.
Shaggy boy says hang up.
Too, so I'm like,
Are you high right now?
No, I'm just like, I just drank a huge coffee, so I'm like buzzing.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can relate. Not a good thing, but I can relate. Anyway, man, good luck. I recommend not doing that anymore. Once she's gone, I know that the laws are against landlords or people who rent out their spaces. But once she's gone, don't bring in girls to live with you. That's a mistake. It's hard enough finding a decent man to be a flatmate, if you want to call it that.
But that seemed kind of gay.
No, man. It's gay to bring a woman and you're letting her bring in all these men. And I get it that you don't have a choice because you don't have rights.
That's kind of gay too. You're right. I have to it's almost like I'm a cuck. It's the word.
It is. Yeah. Don't do that. You shouldn't even probably be renting out the room unless it's a cousin or somebody that you trust. And in many cases, you shouldn't even trust your cousin.
So true.
Yeah.
But what it did was, Jesse talks about sluts.
Yes.
That's a real thing. Jesse, the thing is all these points you guys touch on, even though it's fun to watch your show.
Yeah.
It's like a break for people. We get to watch your show, we get to chill out, we get to see smart people talk. But these issues, they're real issues. These women out here, they're sluts. America is really coming down. Globalism really hurting America. You know what I'm saying? So it's even though it's fun, just chill with you, talk to you, chill with Brandon in the chat, you know what I'm saying? All these things. But dang, these are real world issues. Central Park 5, when Jesse was talking to that caller, and then you came in and you're like, bro, they raped someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the tone of the conversation changes from just banter to dang, everyone listening. Even the caller was quiet. He's like, dang, you know what? Yeah, rape, murder, that shit's real.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyways.
I appreciate you, Raphael. Interesting.
Love you, man.
Thank you. You too. Take care, man.
Alrighty. Bye.
Bye. Shout out to Brandon Johnson. Oh, I forgot to ask him how old he was. Wow. Let me talk with Maze, my favorite caller. Maze in a Daze from Dayton, Ohio. Maze, what's up?
Hello, James.
Hey.
Oh, I wanted to correct something Art said Friday first. When he was discussing the hair and black women hair and all of this stuff. Now, what is that stuff that be in y'all hair that you have to get that red to get it out?
conditioner?
No. It's some
Shampoo?
Kind of bugs. No, those bugs.
Head and Shoulders?
No, those bugs that be in your hair.
Oh, lice?
Yeah, lice.
Oh, do black people not get lice?
No.
They don't?
No.
Really? You ever had lice? Wow. I got lice before. I got it from a Motel 6.
Really?
Yeah. That's why they call me lousy.
And then did Trump have all of his real hair, or do he have some fake hair up there with the little bit he got on his head?
I don't know.
That's what I meant when I said don't discuss hair.
Why not? Why not?
Because,
you know what? I don't even remember Art's call from Friday. I don't remember him mentioning hair, but it stuck with you because you're into the blackness.
No, when he was discussing that nasty hair.
You resented his comments, and so they stuck with you, and you remembered them.
You don't
but
correct
I don't even
people,
remember what he said. I halfway don't even believe that he said anything about hair.
Hey, if you don't correct the people that Trump talked about when he said he loved uneducated people, if you don't help to educate them, they're going to walk around here dumb for the rest of their life.
Uneducated doesn't mean dumb.
So what did he mean when he said that?
Mace. Uneducated does not mean dumb. Uneducated people have better common sense than the so-called educated people.
Yeah, right.
That's why they support Trump.
I'm just repeating what I heard him say. Not right. He said it came out of his mouth. And he also called the people that went into the Capitol. He said they were too slow. They moved too slow. They didn't move fast enough. They were too dumb to move fast enough. Something like he calling them dumb again. They still don't get it.
She's referring to comments that Trump supposedly made that we have no context. And she just jumps from topic to topic. What a mess.
I'm still on the same subject. And then you hear Art saying his mother.
That's not the same subject.
Yes, it is. His mother.
Lice don't like black hair, says Harold Basham.
What?
Lice don't like black hair.
Oh, well, that's good because it's clean. That's probably why they don't like it.
Wow.
Something got something to do. But anyway, as I was saying, Art was saying watching the trial. So I was watching the trial. I'm like, is this about the Capitol? He inviting the people to the Capitol? And is it about Maxine Waters and all those people that they was talking about? But it wasn't about that. That's why I say he loves his uneducated people. And if anybody saw it that way, they don't have any education to comprehend what was going on. Because we knew they weren't going to do nothing to him anyway. Because they refused. The Democrats and the Republicans refused to have to do what they needed to do to embarrass a Caucasian man.
Huh?
You know what they did to the Black Panther Party?
I kind of tuned you out, Maze.
I know you did because you don't like the truth.
No, it's just that this is
James,
empty.
I have a question.
Okay.
Why did they get rid of the Black Panther Party?
I don't know.
Oh, because they thought they was causing problems in the country. And so now
I think they probably were.
So as you say, they're going to get rid of the Caucasian Men Party because of the things that they do to this country. And just
What's the Caucasian Men Party? What's the Caucasian Men Party?
Just like the one said that they can be a neighborhoods. They're the only one that can be a neighborhoods with houses that people can stay in.
What's the Caucasian Men Party? What's the Caucasian Men Party?
The one that y'all talk about every day, Trump Party.
The Republicans?
Like when they say.
Are you talking about the Republican Party? The non-rhino Republicans?
No, because y'all can't even get along with those in that party.
Then you're not being clear. You're not being clear, Maze.
The rhinos when you don't agree with them.
Nobody's following what you're saying. What the heck?
Yes, they are. If you weren't following, why you ask me questions?
I'm trying to ask you questions so that I can follow what you're saying.
Okay, as I was saying.
You're more nonsensical than usual, Maze.
No. Like the Proud Boys and all those people that went into that Capitol and did things.
I don't know that any Proud Boys did anything wrong.
Y'all say Antifa did it. I don't know where y'all be. I mean, what?
I didn't say Antifa did it. I know Antifa was. There was a Black Lives Matter Antifa guy.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't say that it was Antifa. But I don't know that any Proud Boys went into the Capitol. Maybe they did, but I don't know that any did.
It's going to come to an end. Y'all mad with the women, and you're mad with everybody except yourself. Who caused all this to come amongst you?
You don't know. You don't know me.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying you and the ones that follow you, because everybody not uneducated like Trump feed. You got a few that was, and the one over in Canada.
Are you indoctrinated?
He's so high he don't even know if he going to come.
Do you have a college degree, Maze?
Yes.
Oh.
So what they got to do with anything?
Because you're educated / indoctrinated.
Why you got to hate for them? Just like did one of them QAnon people get their GED before they became a congressperson? Which one was it?
You're talking about Marjorie Green? Marjorie Green?
Yeah. But why Jessica got the nerve to talk about black people and giving a test to pass, and then you're going to have to get a GED before you become a congressperson? Something wrong.
Why do you need to have a GED to become a congressman?
Because we already got enough people up there not smart enough to not do the job that they
GED doesn't make you smart.
I didn't say I make you smart. She wasn't doing what she needed to be in school like art. If he studied and did things, he'll see his life better.
Okay.
I'm trying to convince his mother to be like him.
Anybody else bored?
I bet you he won't let her come on and speak.
Maze.
I bet you a wager on that
This is
one.
boring. I gotta go.
I know it's boring. When the truth hurts, so I just telling you like it is. And then that Lindsey Graham, he needs to sit down somewhere.
Lindsey
With that
Graham?
rhetoric that he's going. Yes, Lindsey Graham.
He doesn't need to sit down. He needs to stand up. He needs to stop sitting down.
He want to impeach Kamala, which he can't do anyway.
It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. It's Kamala Harris.
Or whatever you want to call
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Thank you.
Well, anyway,
have some respect to her name.
He wants to impeach her.
Yeah. She isn't even. She isn't even legitimately a senator, much less a vice president.
I'm asking you, are you going to go along with it?
Yeah.
How? Explain it.
Because
How you gonna do it?
Lindsey Graham is a king.
Really? Lindsey Graham was John Cain's best friend at once upon a time.
That's terrible, yeah.
Whatever
No, he's a rhino. Lindsey Graham is a rhino, but there's a glimmer of hope. There's a glimmer of hope. Anyway, Maze.
That's why he got to do what he's doing. All of them that you see doing what they're doing.
I gotta go. You have a good day.
I know you do, but y'all have a good day. Yeah, when y'all real in, it's still gonna be standing.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. A first-time caller in Texas, Bobby, wants to comment or question about abolishing the police. Bobby, thanks for holding. What's up?
Hey, James. How's it going, bud?
It's going well. How are you?
Doing pretty good. A little cold. Got a little snow on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
So I was calling. I've been talking to some of my some liberal fellas I talked to, and arguing about like the police, and they want to defund the police.
Yeah.
You know, I've never really been a huge fan of the police, to be honest. Like, it's hard for me to argue from this, you know, from the conservative side with them, because I'm just never been a huge fan. So they talk about the subject. I don't know if you're familiar with Michael Malice.
Yes.
On,
are you libertarian leaning?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you white or black or what?
Oh, I'm white.
Are you in your 30s, 40s, 20s, 50s, 60s?
30s.
Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm what you call a liberal nightmare. Like, I have long hair. Like, I'm like the worst kind of representative for against your party if you're liberal.
Are you a Christian?
Oh, absolutely.
Nice. Native Texan?
But native Texan, born and bred.
Okay, so go on.
So the talk is like, they say if they take away the police, abolish the police, get rid of them altogether, and they do like a privatized like police force.
Yeah.
And like, so we're in agreement of the government sucks. Like, taking their funding would be any form of tax reduction, I feel like, is a bonus. Like, just get rid of it altogether. Basically, the only responsibility of the government should be keeping the border safe. And that's about it. World police, we don't need that.
Yeah.
I like the military to be funded just in case, but rather not use it, rather not waste it around the world.
Yeah. That sounds
fair. But police have what you'd call a monopoly on violence. Like, there's no one to check, no one to stop them. Like, you can't raise up. Like, there's no, like, basically anything they say goes.
Well, especially the federal police.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're like, you say you get a speeding ticket, or let's say they say you run a stop sign. That makes it a little bit easier. You're like, I didn't run the stop sign. Like, I stopped. Like, maybe I didn't stop long enough to appease his judgment, but like, I stopped. And I left, so I want to fight this in court. I'm gonna fight my case.
Yeah.
So they say, what's your word against a sworn officer of the law?
Right.
So like, automatically you've got no chance. Like, okay, like, you weren't filming
Is
like
that
you
so?
stopping at the sign.
Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Because it seems like it seems like, I don't know. It seems like people have a little bit of benefit of the doubt if there's not much evidence.
Right, but I mean, the way that they're going to put it out there is you're
What if you get a good lawyer?
Sworn,
just out of curiosity.
you're not going to get a lawyer to fight a stop sign ticket.
Okay, all right.
I've
Fair
tried.
point.
I actually have looked into the idea of it with just a small-time lawyer.
So you're saying that you could get basically falsely accused of running a stop sign, and you lost. But sometimes the cop. Hold on. But I hear that sometimes the cops don't show up to the court that day, and then you win.
That is true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And that is a possibility. And I'm not in a huge city. I don't live in a real big city. Like, I'm pretty rural Texas.
Yeah.
So the odds are the cops showing up every time.
So anyway, are you saying that you're kind of liking this abolish the local police thing, or not? Or I
mean, I'm on the fence. Like, I try and keep open-minded. I like to keep an open mind and be like, well, try and weigh the benefits versus like the cons. And I feel like, the biggest con is, it's going to affect the poorer communities, your Black, impoverished, like the people that everybody is so trying to protect. That's the people that abolishing the police is going to affect. Right. They aren't going to be able to afford their privatized security.
Would you? Yeah. And the other thing is, like, okay, this is where an ad hominem argument, in my mind, is very valid. Look at who's pushing this abolish the police thing. You don't agree with anything Black Lives Matter is about. It's based on all lies.
Exactly.
And you know what else they're pushing? All these people are pushing for federal control over the police. And also, yes, local activist, Black Lives Matter activist control of the police. But also they want the feds to prosecute for these imaginary hate crimes, which is a fake, it's a violation of the First Amendment, these hate crimes and these civil rights violations, which is another fake crime, right? For the most part.
Right. And then you're also going to have like privatized, like,
so that should get you,
you're going to have.
So that should get you off the fence, because only evil people are pushing this stuff.
Technically, yeah, you're right there. But I mean, at the same time, like, there's definitely corruption in the police, and it is a monopoly on violence on the citizens. Like, they really don't have.
They don't have a monopoly. Wait. Did you say that police have a monopoly on violence against the citizens?
Right.
That's not true. Blacks commit way more violence against the citizens and police than police do.
But it's not just. It's not illegal.
They get away with it, though. They get away with it.
Yeah, I'm not saying
by and large.
That it's not the case. But that's you're just saying, like, it's kind of anecdotal. It's like,
it's not anecdotal. That's reality. You're acting too
some
white.
Get away, but some don't.
This is one of the white downfalls of intellectualism. This is the problem that I have with libertarians, because you guys kind of get into this theory type stuff about rights and stuff, and I appreciate some of it, and I get it that the cops are, as society becomes more degenerate, it also affects the cops become more degenerate and corrupt. So of course that's going to happen, but deal with black brutality way before you deal with police brutality.
Well, of course, I'm not trying to sit here and say that's cool. I'm not backing that up.
It's not anecdotal. It's around the country. It's across the board a major problem.
But it's the fact that you're saying, like, they're getting away with it in, like, these because of how things are today. But if we go back in time, go back to the 80s, there was always, violence of all kinds, whether it was white, black. There was always criminals doing criminal shit, getting away with it. Like, I mean, I've been in fights before and didn't get, arrested, didn't get caught. I've even been in fights where the cops showed up and ran and got away, but it doesn't make it, it's not that it's either side. It's not the cops' fault that they didn't catch me. But at the same time, I have also been in altercations with police where they wrongfully, got me and physically assaulted me before realizing I wasn't even, involved in anything.
Right. Your point is the cops violated your rights and you have no recourse?
Right. Basically, you could go to court, but I mean,
that's why you're
not going to win.
Right. That's why you avoid. Joel says you were probably about to run, but
I was young. I'm not young anymore. I don't fuck with the police. But
nice, keep it clean. But I gotta end. Sorry. But
okay.
The point is, you got to have the right attitude, because most normal people don't even get into these situations with the cops. I guess sometimes you guys with the independent mind, and I respect an independent mind, you get yourselves in trouble sometimes. Anyway, which, I mean, okay, I respect it. I gotta go, Bobby. Nice talking with you. Let's talk again.
Nice to talk to you, James.
Later.
I'll call you again sometime.
All right. That sounds good, man. Take care. The rest of the callers, Dana from South Dakota wanted to respond to T. Call me tomorrow. This has been the Hake Report, thehakereport.com for my stuff, jesseleepeterson.com for all things JLP, from which you can find rebuildingtheman.com, where you can find information for the Women's Forum, church services, the silent prayer on the church page, rebuildingtheman.com/church, as well as the fallen state stuff. Nice. All right, guys. Take care.
WoC.